Imagine an old alarm clock, your faithful companion every morning, suddenly falling silent, its hands no longer moving. How would you feel? This alarm clock looks brand new, its sleek black shell still gleaming like it just came out of the box. But look closer. The hands aren't moving at all. Chances are it's just a dead battery, nothing serious. Watch the video until the end, and let me know which method you like the most. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. Let's grab a multimeter and check the battery's voltage. This quick test will tell us whether it's completely drained or still got some life left in it. We begin by setting the multimeter to the appropriate voltage range for small batteries, carefully placing the probes on the positive and negative terminals. We attempt to read the voltage. However, in this case, the display shows nothing, no reading at all. This indicates that the battery has completely lost its charge and the chemical reaction inside has stopped. Even pressing harder or adjusting the probes doesn't help, confirming that the cells are entirely dead. This quick measurement not only tells us the battery state, but also avoids wasting time trying to use something that can no longer function. In case we don't have a replacement battery on hand, I'll make one myself. Instead of relying on a store-bought cell, I can assemble a DIY battery using simple materials. I decided to repurpose a broken LED to help create a new battery. To see which option works best, I tested two LEDs, one fully functional and one broken. Connecting the good LED, the voltage was stable, but it felt like overkill for such a small clock. Too much power for the simple mechanism. Then I tried the broken LED. Surprisingly, even though it no longer lit up, it still produced a small voltage suitable for the alarm clock. I decided to go with a broken LED, turning what was once useless into a practical power source for my DIY battery experiment. Next, I carefully opened the broken LED to access its internal components. Inside, I found a tiny capacitor, a small cylindrical element capable of storing electrical charge. Handling it gently, I removed it from the LED casing. When removing capacitor from the LED, it's crucial to be very careful with its tiny legs. Bending or breaking these leads could render the component useless, so I used gentle pressure and precise tools to free from the casing. After successfully removing the capacitor without damaging its legs, the next step was to extend its leads with extra wires, plus. When using the multimeter, the red probe represents a positive lead and the black probe is the negative. Using thin, flexible wires, I carefully soldered them to capacitor's legs, creating a longer connection that would make it easier to integrate into the DIY battery circuit. With the polarity confirmed, I connected the wires accordingly: the black wire to the negative lead and the red wire to the positive lead of the capacitor. So when I touched the red probe to one leg of the capacitor and the black to the other, I watched the reading closely. If it briefly shows a voltage or a small charge and then drops, that tells me the red probe is touching the positive leg. This confirms the polarity: red for positive, black for negative. Next, I soldered the wires firmly to capacitor's leads. Using a fine-tip soldering iron, I applied just enough solder to create a strong, secure connection without damaging the delicate component. Now, it's time to prepare a small solar panel. This panel will serve as the main energy source for the DIY battery setup. By positioning it correctly, it can convert sunlight into electricity, which will then charge the capacitor and power the alarm clock. Before connecting the solar panel, I measure its voltage using a multimeter. By placing the probes on the panel's positive and negative terminals, I could see how much power it could provide under the current light conditions. The multimeter displayed a voltage of 3 volts. This is sufficient for charging the capacitor and powering the small alarm clock. With this reading, I know that the solar panel can provide enough energy under current lighting conditions. When I covered the solar panel, blocking the sunlight, the multimeter reading dropped noticeably. The voltage fell as the panel could no longer generate electricity without light. Consequently, the capacitor stopped receiving energy. Now it's time to solder the capacitor to the solar panel. I connect the positive lead of the capacitor to the positive terminal of the panel and the negative to the negative, making sure the polarity is correct. A quick touch with the soldering iron, and both connections are secured. This setup allows the capacitor to store some of the solar energy, helping smooth out the power and keep the clock running more steadily, even if the light fluctuates. After soldering the capacitor to the solar panel, I tested the setup. The capacitor stored the energy from the solar panel and supplied it steadily. Next, to make it easier to connect the solar panel to other devices, I'm attaching a pair of alligator clips. These handy little clamps let me hook up the panel quickly without soldering every time. I soldered the red clip to the positive wire and the black clip to the negative. Now I've got a reusable, plug-and-play power source ready for future DIY experiments. To keep everything neat and secure, I use a small strip of electrical tape to hold the wires in place. With the solar panel securely fixed and all connections in place, I'll test the alarm clock. Once the connections were secure, I observed the alarm clock closely. To secure the solar panel to the alarm clock, I use hot glue, carefully applying small amount around the edges. I press the panel gently into place. Making sure it was stable and wouldn't move. The hot glue held the panel firmly, without damaging the clock or the capacitor connections. Observing the clock over the next few minutes, it ran steadily without any interruptions. Almost immediately, the hands began to move, confirming that the capacitor was receiving energy from the solar panel and supplying it to the clock. This simple yet effective setup demonstrated that a small solar panel, combined with repurposed capacitor, could successfully power the alarm clock without needing conventional batteries. What do you guys think? Do you like this idea? Don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts. The hands moved smoothly, and the alarm mechanism remained responsive. The solar panel continuously charged the capacitor, which in turn provided a stable flow of energy to the clock. This confirmed that the DIY setup was fully functional. A broken LED, a tiny capacitor, and a small solar panel together created a reliable power source. It was satisfying to see the clock, once silent due to dead batteries, now ticking again thanks to this creative, self-made solution. In conclusion, this DIY project successfully brought an old alarm clock back to life using simple, repurposed components. From testing dead batteries and salvaging a capacitor from a broken LED, to connecting it with a small solar panel, each step demonstrated creativity and resourcefulness. The clock now runs reliably, powered entirely by sunlight, showing that even discarded electronics can be transformed into functional devices. This experiment not only revived a silent timepiece, but also highlighted the possibilities of sustainable and inventive DIY solutions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.